we're going to spend a little time today with a little tutorial about inserting in-text citations. Since we didn't have class this week, I was going to go over this in class, but I forgot all about fall break. So I'm going to do this remotely for you. And hopefully this tutorial, along with the resources over here, you'll see there's a module called MLA Citation. There's also a bunch of resources in there to help you with your source citations. Okay, so we're going to get started. You remember last week we used a fake works cited page. We formatted the works cited page. So what I did is I created some paragraphs to go along with that works cited page to give you a little experience inserting, seeing what it looks like. So if you go over here to additional course resources, click on that module. The second one down is a works cited working sample. You click on that and open it. It's a Word document. And you'll see that I wrote a few paragraphs to go along with our works cited citation. So if you scroll down to page 3, you'll see here's our works cited page. Now, mind you, this isn't a really good essay. I just wrote some paragraphs about dog walking and then inserted some quotes to help you see what it looks like and walk you through the process of doing your in-text citations. So you'll see right here, here is a quote that I inserted, and I left the in-text citation out so you could practice. I numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4. It just goes in the order that they are on the works cited page is all. So I'm going to walk you through that. So the key thing here is, remember last week I said, let's scroll down to the works cited page. So you'll remember last week I said you have to create and format your works cited page first so you can format your in-text citations correctly, because they get formatted off your whatever you have on your works cited page. So you can see we've formatted it. We have everything in order, alphabetical in order. The other key piece to remember is a lot of times students get taught that it's the author's last name, the in-text citation is the author's last name, and a page number or line number or whatever reference that you have. That's actually not correct, because you can see we have 3 sources that don't have an author. It starts with the title because that source does not have an author. So it's really whatever this first word is in the works cited citation, and then page number or whatever reference that you have, if you have one. The something like a video or an audio source, you use timestamps rather than page number. You don't have a page number, but like online articles, a lot of times, unless it specifically shows you a paragraph number or something, you don't have that reference, so you don't include that. So we're going to scroll up. This was going to be our very first quote. So we're going to scroll up to paragraph 1. And you can see I inserted here, I introduced it and inserted the quote. So the in-text citation, remember, would be whatever the first word of that source citation is. And this one we happen to have a author's name. So we use their last name, and then whatever the page, since it's a book, books have page numbers, and so whatever the page number is that we got this information off of. Now, for the purposes of this example, I made up this quote because I didn't actually have the book. So we'll just insert a page number in here, whatever that page number. So I want to point out a couple of things. No comma, and the punctuation goes after the parentheses, because that's actually where your sentence ends. It doesn't end here because this citation goes with this quote. So the punctuation, the period, goes after the parentheses. Okay? So we're done with that one. And then if you look at that, if you're the reader, you're like daily page 78, you can scroll down to the works cited page and look down and find, oh, here's the source. I want to find out, and now you have the information you need to go find whatever you want from that source. So the in-text citation points your reader to the actual source citation on your works cited page. That's the purpose of that. So let's go back up here. Paragraph 2, here is our citation number 2. So I wrote a paragraph. Here's my quotation mark. It's from the second source on our works cited page. So let's scroll down. That would be this one right here. This source right here, second source. So we have two, and the thing to remember is we have two sources that start with the same word. Both of these sources start with how. So you have to go to the next identifier, which would be the second word. How do, how to. Okay, so the other thing is this is in quotes. So if your source, your reference is in quotes, your citation on your works cited page is in quotes or it's in italics, that first word, your in-text, your source citation goes in italics as well. So let's scroll up to so now we know it has to be how do and in quotation marks. So let's scroll up here to number 2. So this would look like, quote, how do, end quote. And then you take out the extra spaces. I just put extra spaces there for reference. So let's take that out. Okay, so that one's done. So let's scroll down to number 3. Now, number 3, you will see that there is no quote in this paragraph. This is what is called a paraphrase. So I didn't directly quote word for word from my source, but I took the information out and reworked it a little bit so it would fit into my paragraph. So it's reworded just a little bit, but the essence of the information is the same as the original source. And so I still have to give credit where credit is due. Now, just for clarity, there's a little typo here. This should say study.com. So anyway, so here I introduced it. Study.com provides some excellent tips for becoming a professional in the field, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so from here down I paraphrased all that information. So it essentially belongs to the source. I just didn't directly quote it. So we still have to give it a citation. So we go down to our third source, which is the study.com article, and we do the same thing. This is an online article. There's no page numbers or paragraph numbers. This should be in italics. So we do the same thing. It would be, quote, how to, end quote, exactly like it is on your works cited page. So we'll scroll back up here and insert that here. End quote. So it looks exactly, so I can, as a reader, I can scroll right to that source and go, oh, okay, I can go get some more information. Okay, so let's go to our last source, which is in rough company, blah, blah, blah. So here I quoted some information out of it. And if you look at it, it is a YouTube video. So video and audio sources use timestamps. If you watch the video, you'll see that there's a scrolling time on the bottom. You can also pull up the transcripts, which will give you timestamps for each line. So this is essentially the same, but instead of a page number, you do the timestamp. So we take our first word of the citation, which is the word training in quotes. So put that here. End quote, and then you have to put the start and stop timestamp. So I think this one was 1:34 to 1:56. Call that. So that's minutes and seconds. Okay, and that's it. That's all that goes in there. And then the period goes after the in-text, after the parenthetical. I hope that makes some sense to you. Now, mind you, you're not going to be quoting from your sources in order like we did here. I quoted this one, I quoted that one, I quoted. You might, but you might not. So But remember, they don't get numbered on here because they're in alphabetical order. And so I can, as a reader, I can take your in-text citation and find that source on your works cited page. Okay, I hope that helps. If you run into questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I know we don't have class this week, and so you may have some questions. Feel free to email me. I'll be around all week. And I hope this helped. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you later. See you next week. Bye.